Hey guys, so in this video we're going to add some blood effects, and first one will be regular blood effect when we hit the enemy, and the second one will be really cool Gash effect that will leave enemies bloody. First thing that we need to do is import the textures, so there is a link in the description of this video, download them, import them, and we do have two, so one is blood gash and one is blood splatter. If you want to use your own, just type into Google something like blood splatter and it will come up with few different textures. You just need the one that is PNG. And after you've done that, let's go to third person materials, and we need to create material from the blood. So right click, create new material, and this one will be blood_m. Open it up, and what we want to do here is change this to translucent, drag in the texture, so it's the blood splatter. RGB color goes to base color, alpha goes to opacity, and now we only left with the blood. So apply and save. If you want, you can also change this slightly. So I like to play with these values, and I think the brightness can go like 1.5 maybe, or 1.2. And then saturation also is nicer if it's a little bit higher, maybe even 1.4. No, not that high, 1.2. And then you can just play with different values, see what looks good. This one doesn't, so I'll leave it at 1. Save it, and now we have the material done. So we need to create Niagara system. Let's go to third person. Do we actually have a folder? Effects. So we can create it here, right click, create Niagara system, and what we need is one of these bursts. So there is few different options, but what I like to do is use directional burst and then change it slightly. So it will be this one, the orange one. There are a few different ones, so be careful. So this one here, create, and this one will be blood effect _ns. Open it up, and what we want to do here, first change the texture. So in sprite renderer, change this to our blood material, and here on this facing mode, just do face camera, and then emitter state is fine. This is here in the spawn burst instantaneous. What we can do is do different count of the particles, so maybe something like 500. There will be way more blood, it will look a little bit more natural. Then in particle spawn, we want to change this sprite size. So also let's change lifetime to like 1.5 to maybe, I don't know, 2.5 seconds. They anyway disappear, they get smaller and stuff, so it doesn't matter that much. But then in a sprite size, I think the good size would be between maybe 3 on this one as well, and 4. So it's not too big because you don't want to have like a liter of blood dropping in one go. So that's for that. Initialize particles, add velocity. Here we want to change from the cone to from point. So it won't be going from one direction. I try to make it so it will go to the direction that your weapon is actually hitting. But it didn't look very nice because you always hit like some different points on the thing, and sometimes it goes a little bit up because your weapon was like turned. So there wasn't really a way to make it nice, and it didn't look very good. So instead we're going to make like a burst from the point. And that's why we're changing it to from point. And here for velocity speed, we're going to change it to between maybe 400, so we'll speed it up a little bit so it actually explodes to 500. Particle state, we don't change that. Gravity force we can leave. Drag, slate color. So this one actually worked. This is basically longer the particle lives, then it's supposed to go invisible, but you would have to set the node in the material itself. So we'll leave it as it is. And sprite renderer, that's fine. So save it. This is our Niagara system. We can always adjust it. You can change the spawn count, which will be more particles. You can do velocity, different one. You can make them bigger if you like in this sprite size. But I think this will be good. And now what we want to do is in combat components, when we hit the enemy, again we're going to move all of this back. Eventually we will collapse it to either function or some event that will, or node that will handle all of the on-hit events, because there will be quite a lot. But for now, what we want to do is spawn system add location. This will be our blood effect. Location, we need to drag in the impact point. So that's where we actually hit the enemy. And rotation, we can leave it as it is. Scale is the same. Auto destroy, auto activate. We don't have to change anything there. So compile and save. And now we can just test it out. Let's pick up some weapons. I know we only have 200 animation, but this one has higher attack speed. So there we go. So my game doesn't load very well. Sometimes it doesn't even do line trace properly, so it doesn't register the hit, but there you go. Okay, so usually what I've seen in the tutorials, people do quite a lot of blood and big blood, and it doesn't look very good. This is like unobtrusive, you know, there is a bit of blood. And you can see like the enemy is not dying from it or anything. But it looks decent. So there's actual blood drops falling down. And now, the better part of this tutorial is going to be, we're going to do like gash. We're going to leave a gash on the enemy. So for that, what we need to do is we need to create decal. And we were doing decals already before when we were creating the puzzle door. But for now, let's go to materials. We need to create one from the other blood, from the gash. So right click, create new material, and this one will be blood gash decal underscore m. Open it up. We need to drag in the second texture. So it's this one, blood gash. RGB goes to base color. And alpha again goes to opacity, which we don't have because I need to change this to translucent. And here, instead of surface, we're going to do deferred decal. Alpha, connect to opacity now. Apply, save. Don't really see it, but don't be worried, it should be working. Now we can test it out by just dragging it. That's the texture, my bad. Third person, materials. And it's this one, blood gash. So this is what we're going to paint on the enemy basically. And now for that, let's go to combat component again. And here after, oh, we can do it before, doesn't matter. Again, I'm going to move this back. And here from, I'm not sure why I'm doing it after. Drag this thing behind it, because then I have to check the validity as well. That's my bad. Just go here and connect it back. And then is valid goes to set active, is not valid goes to place sound. That way we can skip it. And now here we're going to spawn decal attached. Add it here, and decal will be blood gash. Just thinking, why is the blood gash already material? Did I? I'm a little bit confused. It's this one here. What's the other one? Blood gash. Did I create one by accident? Okay, don't know what that is. I'll delete this one. that. And now in this effect, it closed it because I had it actually added to spawn. So let's open compat component again. And here on this decal attached, we're going to select the blood gash decal. For decal size, I think something like 20 will be good. Don't make it too big, because then some objects that might be next to it, it might actually project on top of them. And for attach to component, we need to attach it somewhere, but we do have a component here that we're hitting, which will be the mesh, because only on the mesh of the enemy or the player we do have that line trace turned on, which is tracing for enemy. So it will hit only the mesh. And then we will have a bone name as well. So hit bone name will be the bone that we actually hit, and we will attach it to that location. And then that will be attach point name, so we don't need to set location or rotation. Here we need to change this to snap to target, keep the world scale. And lifespan, we can do something like, I don't know, 5 seconds. So after 5 seconds, it will get destroyed. And now, let me just double check if I did everything correctly. Location, rotation is valid. Spawn. Yeah, that should be good. What is this owner doing here? That needs to go back. Play the game. Again, I'm going to, let's get a 200 now. And I'm going to hit this enemy. And you can see he's got a gash on him. Bam, on the hand, on the arm. I attacked multiple times and it's all bloody. Kind of starting to look like vampire. Okay, and it's attaching it to the bone you actually hit. Sometimes obviously it might look like you're hitting different bones, but it's the first line trace it actually registers. So yeah, pretty cool. If you were to do different NPC, so let's do NPCs, enemy, and I'm going to change him to Queen or something. Or SKM money. And then let's scale him just for fun to 2. Did I scale the correct thing? Probably yes. And now let's place him up. I should have probably scaled just the mesh. And now you will see it a little bit better. There is this giant. I'm going to hit his legs. And he's got gashes all on his legs. Alright. So that's pretty cool. And now what we want to do, I'm not sure if you noticed, but the decal is basically disappearing after 5 seconds, but it goes instantly. And we can make it a little bit nicer. We can actually fade it out. For that, there is a node that we can use in combat component. After this decal, we're going to drag from return value and do fade out. So it will be set fade out. And here what we want to do is start delay, so we can set it up here 5 seconds, and duration, how long it will fade. It will fade for 3 seconds or maybe 2. And here lifespan, I'm not sure if it actually destroys automatically after it fades out, but just in case if it doesn't, I'm going to set this to 10 seconds, so this will be finished already, and then lifespan it will get destroyed. This on its own won't actually work because we need to set a node in the material that will enable it. For that, let's go to blood gash, and here we need to search for decal lifespan, lifetime opacity, this one here, and we need to multiply the alpha channel. So we can do alpha first and then this one, and then plug it to opacity. And I think we also need to do base color. Not 100% sure on that, but just kind of testing it out. So let's do base color and then connect it to base color. So both of them are multiplied by this lifetime opacity. Save it. And now I'm just going to make him regular size again. So scale will be 1. and then let's play the game. Pick up some weapons. 200 again. And slash, slash, slash. And now let's check these decals. And they're fading away. Well, one more thing. There is one setting on this set fade out. This destroy owner after fade. Just uncheck it. It actually destroys the actor that owns the decal, which is now the mesh because we have attached it to components, so that needs to be unchecked. Now the final test is actually, I'm going to get sword, slash this guy open, and then you can see it fading out slowly, which I think looks amazing. So this will be on top of the armor as well and everything, so it will actually be nice blood effect. Cool, so that is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. One more quick addition I actually forgot about is that on the weapon, just open items BP. What can happen if your weapon is really close to enemy where the decal is? It can project on the weapon. We have it turned off on the player, so it won't happen. At least you should, since we have done that, I think, in puzzle door. But on the weapons you also need to do it. So on the item mesh, just search for decal and uncheck receive decals. Compile and save, and that's it. Cool, bye.